Thank you so much for joining all of us at Arena Stage for Arena Riffs. Arena Riffs is a 3-part commissioned music series that features 3 different composer and lyricist teams with musical selections infused with the sounds of folk, indie, and hip hop. Each artist was given absolute free rein in terms of what they wanted to compose. Arena Riffs are self-produced, self-contained, finished pieces presented by Arena Stage. So we hope that you please stick around after the show for an informal discussion with these artists. First, we premiere My Joy is Heavy by Shaun and Abigail Bengson. Next, we premiere The Freewheeling Insurgents, written, directed, and conceived by Samayeni 24. And our final piece is A More Perfect Union from Rona Siddiqui. Arena Riffs is generously sponsored by the Artistic Directors Fund and Sheila Stamp Flea. Our Looking Forward season is generously sponsored by Global Medical REIT Incorporated. We're just so happy to have continued to engage with audiences during the pandemic through a wide range of virtual programming, including many films, the salons, youth classes, master classes, and partnerships. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we will see you after the show. And also, check out the website to see what else we're doing at Arena Stage and join us. We love to see you online. Thanks.
I mean, really, when was the last time we were in Vermont in November?
It's not like my first choice place for the winter months. But this is, I was brought from the hospital when I was born to this house. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
170 years old. She's an old lady.
Sweet old gal.
Yeah. Needs a little love.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. It's wild that this isn't a snowstorm day, but the snow is
I know.
definitely happening. Do you remember in July, we thought, oh, that's certainly the worst of it.
That's gotta be the bottom of the pit.
We were wrong. We were so wrong.
So wrong.
It's been harder than I could have imagined. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that it got so hard. I'm sorry that it got harder than we thought it could ever get. This is me. I'm bedecked in my COVID uniform of sweatsuit and old breakfast. I can see watching this that it's a bad day for pain. It's a pain day.
Hi guys, Shaun here. I'm feeling totally great. I'm fine. I'm also in the uniform.
I have chronic pain.
I'm more depressed than I've ever been, which is not a record I was hoping to break.
I have migraines. IBS.
Going deaf. What? Huh? Sorry? Panic attacks.
And I have PTSD. And I'm pregnant. So, Let's talk about joy.
I've been underground in a deep dark cave, doing my best to stay alive. I've been underground in a deep dark cave, doing my best to stay alive. I've been underground in a deep dark cave, doing my best to stay alive. I've been underground in a deep dark cave, doing my best to stay alive.
When you live in the when you live underground, there are stars, but they shine on the underside of roots. Tap roots are coming down, and they make a constellation if you look around. Underground, and there is plenty of time to learn, plenty of time to grow, plenty of time. Oh, there is plenty of time to learn, plenty of time to grow, plenty of time. Oh, if you're lucky, there'll be time to get old, time not to know, plenty of time. Oh, I've shed my old skin, but I don't have a new one. Yeah. Light down here, once your eyes adjust, there is light down here.
So, what do you do when faced with chronic pain, global pandemic, real potential of civil war? You make babies.
It's, I grew up Christian with all that abstinence, sex education stuff. And I really always thought that you just look at someone too long and they could catch a case of the babies. But that wasn't true for us at all. And even the couple of times we have been able to coax a little spirit in, there wasn't anything we could do then about whether they were going to stick around or not. It really is, all you can do is you just sit at that threshold and pray.
When you're standing in the open doorway, when you're calling with your open hands, there was a veil I peered once through. There was a veil that we hung one winter, hoping we could have you walk on through. There was a veil I peered once through. You've been pregnant 3 times in our life. Our first baby left in the middle of the night. It was Christmas time. There was no bright star, no bright light, only empty space. Empty hands, empty arms, empty face.
This is becoming a mother, infinite love and zero control.
When you're standing in the open doorway, when you're calling with your open hands, there was a veil I peered once through. There was a veil that we hung one winter, hoping we could have you walking through. There was a veil I peered once through.
The second time was our son, and I was terrified the whole time, trying trying to close my hands around him, trying to make this baby mine, and calling, please, please stay for a while. Oh, can we be happy? Can we just try to live as though good things happen, and live as though we will be alright? Can we be happy? Oh, can we just try to live as though good things will happen, and we will be alright?
There was a veil that we hung one winter, hoping we could have you walk on through. There was a veil our beard was through.
When he was born, he was hurting. His breathing, it wasn't right. I thought I'd lost another to the middle of the night. But not this one, oh God, not this one. Oh, watch him fight, and now he's alright. Can we be happy? Can we just try to live as though good things happen, and live as though we will be alright? Can we be happy? I would like to try to live as though good things happen, and we will be alright. Can we be happy? Can we just try to live as though good things happen, and live as though we will be alright? Can we be happy? Can we just try to live as though good things happen, and we will be alright?
So this time,
I'd like to be happy.
Not wanting to wait to be happy. Not wanting to wait to be happy.
I'd like 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 to be a little happier.
so this time, I want it to be different.
Me too.
I don't want to
We're
be
gonna
so
try.
afraid. Yeah.
That's right.
I'm gonna try that again.
I can't protect myself from grief anyway. I can't prevent something terrible happening anyway. And just see what happened if I decided to enjoy it, and if I decided to love. Just go ahead and love. What if I could have, let's say, a panic attack and then not spend the rest of the day trying to cure panic attacks by Googling panic attacks? What if instead I could just rest my head? I'd like to be happy.
Not wanting to wait to be happy. Not wanting to wait to be happy.
I'd like to be happy.
Not wanting to wait to be happy. Not wanting to wait to be happy.
I'd like 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 to be a little happier. What if health is overrated? Oh, what if wellness is actually a bullshit industry constructed to rob us of joy?
Hey, yeah. Maybe health and a healthy body and a healthy mind are
happy.
Not wanting to wait, not wanting to wait to be happy. Not wanting to wait, not wanting to wait to be happy.
I'd like 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 to be a little happier.
I'd like to be happy.
I'd like to be happy.
I'd like to be happy.
I'd like to be a little happier.
This is my wife. It's December 2020. She's in pain right now. She's having a miscarriage. Though the term isn't kind, she hasn't miscarried anything. We are so sad. We're between versions of our lives.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk to you. Can I talk to you? Yeah. So when I was a kid, I heard this joke on I think it was Roseanne, that you can't be a little bit pregnant or a little bit dead. And now I thought I know that you can be both. You can be both of those things, sometimes at the same time. So now you see me. I'm pregnant and I'm not pregnant. There's life in me and death in me. It's like if you've ever been in the room when someone was dying or been in the room for a birth, then there's this real threshold. There's like a doorway and you can feel it open for a moment and you can see now I'm the door. And I'm less of myself. And I'm more of the whole world. So, here's what I want to tell you. There was this moment when I had started spotty, but that doesn't mean anything. You know, it's one of those things that gives you a fright, like now, like coughing or shortness of breath, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything. But I was hurting, so I came and I laid down here, my heating pad. And Louis, our son, came and laid down with me, which is a rare, wonderful treat. And he brought up the iPad, and I put on, here, I'll put them on now. I put on Boss Shows, which is what he likes to watch, is like YouTube videos of like Nintendo bad guys being defeated, slaying monsters. And we just cuddled up together. And at first I started to get really afraid. But then I just thought, well, okay. Here's this moment right now, this moment. In this moment, I am pregnant, and Louis is okay. And we're all together, the three of us. Me and my two little ones. And I have to tell you guys, it was good. It was good. It was really good. There was a moment there. On the precipice of knowing and unknowing, when it was truly sweet. Joy was there, soft and deep. I held them both as best as I could, and then an hour later I stood up and peed, and I knew that it was over. So let's talk about joy. Here's what we didn't know. That joy, the joy we made, the joy we grew together, we got to keep it. I have it. Still, I can call on it right now, and I am calling on it right now. It is heavy and sad, and it is joy. A heaviness of joy and a light kind of grief, and all of it is love. All three of them I've carried. I have kept the love, and now the joy, it can't be taken away.
thank you, hallelujah. Thank you, hallelujah. Thank you, hallelujah. Thank you, hallelujah. I am not trying, no, I'm long past trying to mend this broken heart. No, I'm just trying to hold all the pieces and honor every part. Oh, this cracked open holy shield that lives inside of my chest. It is a home for a phoenix or for an animal, for any animal in need of rest. Oh, my joy is heavy. Oh, help me carry the joy that comes at the end of a life. At the end of walking, oh, at the very beginning. This heavy joy that I bury at night. Oh, this heavy joy that I bury at night. Oh, there is a heavy joy that I bury at night.
Abigail and Shaun, after seeing your incredible work, I think we all need to just take a breath.
Feels good to breathe. Thank you.
Feels good to breathe, because I think the audience that has just seen your work will need to do that for a moment.
Thank you, Molly.
Absolutely. Thank you. And what you created is so personal and raw and real and powerful and funny and charming and full of joy. How did you make a decision about what you wanted to do for this commission for Arena Stage? How did the ideas come to you?
Oh my goodness.
Thank you so much for saying all that.
Yeah, thank
You
you.
know,
That's the dream, man.
It really is.
We really made this to heal ourselves. We made it because we needed to find a way into we needed to metabolize the terror and the grief and the shame that we were feeling into something new. And because you guys called and said, come and do this with us, and also do whatever you want. And the generosity of that meant that we thought we were going to do one thing, and then we thought we were going to do another thing. We were kind of sniffing out its trail. And then I became pregnant while we were working on it. And we knew, because of who we are, that that would enter into and influence what we were creating together. And then when I lost the pregnancy, although I lost nothing, but when the miscarriage happened, although I miscarried nothing, but when that happened to us and through us, we had been through a miscarriage before, and we really, really wanted to carry it a different way. We had wanted to carry the pregnancy a different way, without as much terror as we had had with our little boy. We wanted to see if it was possible, even with bodies that hurt and brains that didn't always work the way we hope, and all those things, if it was possible to notice and even cultivate pleasure, joy, appreciation, gratitude, not apart from those moments, but within the heart of those moments. And making this together was really a way to try to see if such a thing was possible. And I'm so happy to feel that it is for me, for Shaun. Yeah, what a gift to discover that it is.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it really was an act of hope, even when we were still in the part where the pregnancy was still with us, that our other times we had been so consumed with fear, and just thinking like maybe what would happen if we just let go of that part and just tried to enjoy what we could. And our worry very much was that the fear was the thing that was protecting us. The fear was the thing that would preserve us if
Totally.
it didn't go the way we hoped. And instead it seems that it was just a wall between the joy that was there and available. And I do think the thing that we did discover for us is all of that joy that we leaned into in that moment, not only in being with this tiny being and envisioning that future, but also in noticing the gifts that were around us and trying to really be present with our little boy and with the changing world. And then when we were laid low by the miscarriage, instead of it just like exposing my heart to more wound, it was instead we got to take it with us, and it was balm rather than, it felt like a balm rather than a curse in that moment. And we're always, when we're writing stuff, whether we set out to or not, it ends up being very much about whatever we're going through in that moment in our life. And I feel like part of our journey as artists has just been about trying to accept that is so.
Totally.
And whatever like cool wrapper we try to put on it at the early part of the process, it's always not good, not going to work. And so we're just trying to break through and just like accept what the kind of thing that we make, and just like try to do that better rather than trying to lean into the things that we don't do as well.
When I first experienced the rough cut that you sent me and a few other people at Arena, it was early in the morning, and I sat at the kitchen table and I cried for about 20 minutes. I sobbed. And then I just started laughing. So the release was incredible because it is such a personal story of the loss that you experienced. And yet you have found the way, as the very best artists do, to explode it into a moment where it is about what all of us have been going through with COVID over the past year. So it was about all of the losses that I've experienced and my partner Suzanne has experienced through the entire year. And it's also about all of the green spring shoots that are coming out now that are saying to us, it's spring, it's spring. So you kept being able to find all of the joy in it as well, which feels to me like it's an earmark for both of you. And I'm so curious, do you start with the idea? Do you start with a piece of music that runs through your brain? Do you start with a particular lyric, or is it any of the above?
Oh my
It's
goodness.
it's been all sorts. I think like when we're doing a project, usually the way we start is we do a little accounting of the songs that we've got, and just like make a pretend version just with all existing music, and then over the course of it we replace it all. And with this one, we did start with we're on a real journey as writers too, and I think one of the things that we've been trying to lean into and thinking about story is thinking about like thesis and like essay, and thinking like what is the point that we're trying to convey, and then how can we support it. And so the thesis with this one that we arrived at after much roundabout is this notion of getting to take the joy with you, of getting to hold it, and the experience of the heaviness of that joy. And then with the music, some of it like came music and lyric all at once. Some of it was a melody that we then labored over the lyric, or vice versa. There's a couple of things in there that we started with, like making the track, making the instruments, and then we played around with different melody and lyrics over top. It was really sort of all of the above for this. And the thing that's so nice with video is that we can then see it. Like we can just do it, and then we can experience it too, which is so different with like live theater.
It's amazing. It's like inevitably just going, oh, it's too long, over and over and over again. It's so funny. It's so
like,
amazing.
cut this.
Be like, you do something and it's 6 minutes long, and you're like, I love 45 seconds of this. It's amazing that way. But yeah, I agree with you. There were there are so many different ways in, and that's one of the really nourishing things about working together musically, is that each song is a living thing, and so is born in a different way.
And this was so unusual because you are developing not just the music, but also the imagery. And how did you make decisions on imagery? Did you just think, oh, it needs to be about our everyday life, or, oh, this could be an interesting angle? How did that happen between the two of you?
Oh man.
It's a bold new world for us. And I think part of it is like, we're pretty limited in the technology that we have, it's just all with our like little iPhones. And so I think part of it was like, I think it can be so sad when something pretends to be something it isn't like that. You know what I mean? For us to like try to pretend that we were a big budget, like Hollywood looking thing, and so it's like trying to really lean into the aesthetic, because it is something that we all have in our lives. We're so many of us now make video like this all the time and send it between each other. So I feel like that was kind of our starting point, is like thinking about, because some of this, the footage that's in there, some of it was made specifically for this, and other is just footage from our life that we repurposed. And so I feel like that was kind of the guiding principle with it, was trying to think within that kind of world of the actual like found footage of our life. And then after that, it was just a lot of experimentation, and just putting things together and watching it, and taking notes and doing it like that, right? What would you say?
I think you said it beautifully. I think for me also it was a real, when I was really in the hurt of it the most, which I still am sometimes, but when we were going through it, like all the footage of sledding happened. We made it the day that we started to miscarry. And I was just seeing Louis sled away from us over and over again, just seeing that, and having to every time go, yay, as he went farther and farther away. And then we took him and he was hungry, and we got pizza because you can't go, of course we wouldn't go inside anywhere, and we ate it in the car, and he was covered with pizza, and he said, this is the best thing I've ever done. This is the happiest day. This is the happiest thing that we've ever done. Let's have a day like this over and over again. And that was as true as this other thing that was happening simultaneously. And it was such a gift to me, the recording of this thing I was seeing of him, of what we were seeing of him going away from us, helped me honor the poetry that exists in each of our moments of crisis. We all, I think that we are really not alone in this, that when something big cracks your life, there is a kind of poetry that spills out.
Mm-hmm.
And details become important or disappear. It's an amazing time outside of time. And for me, I really needed witnessing. I needed witnessing in that,
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to digest it and move through it. And this gave us the space to be in it and also witness it at the same time.
Mm-hmm. So extraordinary. Well, I need you both to know that I've commissioned work as an artistic director for over 40 years. And this is in the top tier of everything that I have ever commissioned. And I've been fortunate to have commissioned a lot of glorious pieces. And you are at the very, very top of my list. So thank you for your artistry. Thank you for cracking our hearts open. Thank you for taking us on a joyful ride and for saying, live, just live. You guys are glorious. Thank you.
Oh, we love you,
Oh,
Molly.
Molly,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you for this gift. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.